Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of EPL Preview Show. It is week 36. Yes, a little bit left of the Premier League, people. We know who the champs are going to be. We know who's going to get relegated, but we're not quite sure who is going to play in Europe for the EPL. Of course, we do the predictions every week. So until the game's finish, we're going to keep predicting games, people. That's what we're going to do. Yes, leading into the end of the season, people, we're going to have some content surrounding the season. Going to do a team of the season episode where I pull up the team sheet and I go ahead and show you guys my team of the season. We're gonna have starting lineup, some bench players, and a manager for the season as well. Definitely pick best player of the season, and we're gonna break it down by position as well, in terms of defender, midfielder, forward. So we're gonna do that, and goalkeeper, of course. So we're gonna do that. Have our own award show for the EPL season. That will be in the final review show. It will be a little bit more going on. So we'll definitely have that for you guys. All right. So people, I just want to say first and foremost, this is YouTube. So you know the rules of YouTube, people. You have to like the video. You have to like the video. As soon as you click it, just find the thumbs up button wherever it is, whatever device you're using, smash that like button. Then, if you can go a step further for Jason Gooner TV, that is by sharing it as well. So you like it, then you share it. You share it into your peer groups, into your football groups, into your chats. Let people know Jason Gooner is live. See? Because the more eyes, the better it is, right? Yes, people. And of course, if you're brand new to the channel, never been here before, never seen it, I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. Here at Jason Gooner TV, we discuss football. And we love it so much that we'll bring it to you every single chance we get. So, of course, we are Gooners. So we follow the EPL. All season, we have done a preview and review show. We have also given you Champions League content. Of course, we are Jamaican, as you can probably hear by this point. So we follow JPL, we follow Jamaican national teams as well. As a matter of fact, the JPL quarterfinal just finished, the longest quarterfinal of all time, started yesterday, ended today. But Mobay got the first leg win 2-1 over Tivoli. And we're waiting for the Portmore Cavalier game, which I think is due to start in about a half an hour. So yeah, that should be it right there, people. I am going to bring you guys the content about the EPL as we always do. So we're going to definitely look at the latest injuries, talk about the form, assess the two teams that are going to be playing, and we will then give our predictions for each match. All right, people. So that is how the show is going to go. Of course, you know, a lot of the EPL teams did have their fate found in the European competitions. The less we talk about it, the better. As far as the Champions League goes, of course, you know, Arsenal did fall to PSG 3-1 on aggregate. So, yeah, was not the best situation for me, for sure, to have to deal with that. But the better team won, people, regardless of what Arteta tries to tell you. The better team won. So, yeah, he was trying to tell us that the coaching staff of PSG said that we had the best team or whatever he was saying. Arteta never fails with his foolishness, bro. But yeah, I'm trying to get the game on the screen, but I don't know what I'm going. All right, Cavalier team sheet. Len King, Calvin, Atkinson, Allen, Watson, Ainsworth, Richters, McCleary, and Adrian Reed. No Stein. Stein clearly have an injury. That's a big miss for them still. Calvin must have played striker. Portmore. Zimo. Yes, people. So we can multitask, people. I'll give you the EPL preview show. I have the JPL playing on the screen. So, yes. Big up to all the people tuned in. Make sure to smash the like button, as I said before. Let me go ahead and get Premier League injuries up. So we do have 10 fixtures this weekend, 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. So we'll be back on Sunday night for the review show for the week, which is good because then that will leave space for the Monday night quarterfinal games in the JPL. So we'll probably bring you some content from that. Whatever is the second game, I'll probably do that game, the later game. Kick off at Stadium East. All right, so let's get on the screen right now, people, the injury news for the week, latest team news. So you see Guardiola updates on Haaland fitness. So Haaland is fit for Southampton trip, says Guardiola. We travel to the South Coast. Okay. He's ready, he's fit, start. We decide tomorrow, is what he said. So all you fantasy people, if you're one of the few that still have Haaland and his big wages in fantasy, say he could start. Oscar, Bob, Ake, and Rodri still not available. Started training with us partially, but they're still not available. So that's the latest. Basically, Haaland could be back to start, but definitely will be fit enough to play. So let's see if he features tomorrow against Southampton. Man City has been on a tear in the Premier League, honestly, of late. And of course, they're in the FA Cup final as well. So still can get some silverware in a season that many would say is one of the worst for Man City in recent times. Now we move on to Yuri Tillemans. Yuri Tillemans ruled out of Aston Villa's Premier League game against Bournemouth on Saturday. Injured and he's not available tomorrow. We'll test him again next week. It's a small injury. We'll test him again. He's not available for tomorrow though. Marcus Rashford, who has missed the last 2 matches with injury, Emery said the forward will miss the trip as well. So that's 2 big misses for Aston Villa. Yuri Tillemans, from me, has probably been the player of the season for Aston Villa, just based on performance in my eyes. So yeah, big miss for them tomorrow with a big game against Bournemouth. Wharton also going to be out for Crystal Palace. Of course, Crystal Palace would have one eye firmly placed on the FA Cup final when they'll face Man City. So I think any of their players, the likes of Wharton, Eze, Sarr, Mateta, if they have any niggles going into any of these Premier League fixtures, I could see them not taking a chance. This could be the situation with Wharton as well. I think if this was a must-win game, maybe, because basically they're saying if everything goes right, he'll be reintegrated into full training next week, Wednesday, when they start preparing for the FA Cup final, which is next weekend. He's the only one who can't play. All the others are fit and available, is what they said. They said 90% he can play in the FA Cup final. So I'm pretty sure he will be fit enough to play in that FA Cup final. And if they had to, he probably would get through this game as well. But understandably, they want to make sure that they have every piece available for that FA Cup final next weekend. So Wharton will miss the Spurs match. Solly March out for the season. He's been a player that's been out I think he did make a slight comeback, but he's back again out for the season. So rough on him. Amorim updates on Dalot and Mazraoui. Basically, Dalot and Mazraoui still, he said he has to be really careful with them until the end of the season. He said Mount is pushing to fitness in order to start games again. So yeah, they have some injury issues, definitely, Manchester United, and of course with the Europa League final to look forward to. Similar to with Crystal Palace, I think they will be taking a lot of precaution in their remaining Premier League games. So I could see Manchester United putting out some weird looking teams to end out this season. Castagna out for the season at Fulham, and Otara will be out for the Aston Villa match. That's the Bournemouth winger slash forward. He will be out, has an abductor injury. So it looks like he's probably out for the season. Probably out for the season is Dango Otara. So that's pretty much the main team injury news as of right now. So let's get right into the fixtures. But before we do that, people, let's take a look at the table before we get into the fixtures for the week. So, of course, as I said before, the relegation pretty much started. Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton will all be playing in the Championship next year. So that 46-game marathon is what they will have to get through. West Ham, 17th position, 37 points. Tottenham 38, Man U 39, Everton 39. I think Tottenham and Man U, you know, if you're looking at, I think they're gonna put it this way. I don't think they'll really prioritize the league for the rest of the season. They really can't get anywhere from their position in the table, and I think right now, you know, everything will be going towards that Europa League final for those two teams. So whoever has them to play, I think you should be happy with their situation right now, because as I said, any kind of niggling injuries, they're gonna make sure to rest the player. So you could see a lot of academy graduates playing in these games. Cavalier with a goal mouth scramble. Finally cleared. Portmore can counter now. Lots of space down the left. Whip it in. No. Extra touch, kill it. And then him give her the ball. All right. Then Wolves, 13th, 41 points. And then there's a bit of a gap there, 5 points to Crystal Palace, who is in 12th with 46 now. Based on how it's looking with the teams that are going to win the European competitions, I think all the way down to 8th position will get Europe next season. So, you know, when you factor that in, the likes of Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, all will be fighting for that 8th spot, I would say. There's 3 games to go, and they're all separated by just 2 points. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. You know, we said top 5 race for the Champions League, but, you know, could be even more than that based on the winner of the Champions League, or sorry, the winner of the Europa League who's going to get a Champions League place. You know, that will make another team in the competition. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see how it pans out. Chelsea, potentially, if you win the Conference League, you're automatically in the Europa, which means if Chelsea finishes in the top 5 and wins the conference, that will open up another slot for an English team to go into the Europa League. That's why I said down to 8th position might get it, because 6th would get Europa, 7th as well, and then 8th will go to the conference. So potentially, there's a chance that 8th position will get Europe, right? Now, as it stands, it looks like that might be the case. You know, Chelsea have to get past Betis, which is going to be tough. They're on very good form of late. Haven't lost a game in I think it was 17 matches unbeaten or something like that. So they're definitely on a good form. So it will be tough. And I think they were at least tested in the semi-final against Fiorentina. I don't believe Chelsea has really been tested in the competition yet. So we'll see if that plays any kind of factor. But of course, they play in the Prem, so they're getting tested every week as well. So, but let's see how that turns out. But basically, I think that 8th position could value something. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Then the race for the top 5 pretty much starts right here from 7th up to 2nd, right? So, you know, a 7-point gap between 7th and 2nd, which is with 3 games to go, not impossible to pass, right? You know, if Arsenal were to lose the last 3 games, then, you know, all these teams could potentially leapfrog them. Villa on 60 points. Pretty much every game for them is going to be a final right now. They were able to get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I'm sure they would want to be playing in that competition again next year. Nottingham Forest, the Cinderella story of the season, they've kind of hit a wall of late. They are now down to sixth position with 61 points. When we were trying to predict the top five about 4 weeks ago, I had Nottingham Forest and Chelsea actually outside of the top five. Now, I wasn't thinking that Chelsea would beat Liverpool in the running. So they basically have a bonus 3 points I wasn't accounting for. So that could very well make a difference with them staying in this top five. But then you have the likes of them, Newcastle, both on 63 points. Both actually have 21 goal difference, but Newcastle scored more goals. That's why they're above them. Then you have City, worst season in ages for them, lowest point total ever for Pep under City, and they're 3 points behind Arsenal right now. One more win than Arsenal as well. And yeah, it's looking like, based on momentum, based on the fixtures left, Arsenal's going to struggle to finish above Man City this season. So that's kind of something interesting psychologically, where Arsenal, have been trying to surpass City the last 2 years for sure. And even in this season where City has been seen to have had this terrible season, it's very, very possible that they will actually finish with more points than Arsenal, right? So, if there's anything left to play for, it's that pride. You want to at least finish as high as you can, and hopefully that pride is what will take Arsenal over the line. But I do expect some issues in these last three games based on falling out of the Champions League, and just another season without any kind of anything to show really for what you have done for the season. So tough. I think the ending will be tough for Arsenal. Most of the time when Arsenal don't have any pressure, they'll win the games. But I think even in this situation, like, there's no pressure really, but I just feel like emotionally a lot have probably gone out of the team. But let's see how they bounce back. They'll have to do a guard of honor. That's all I know, which is never easy. All right, people, let's get right into the fixtures. Let's see if people checking in. Yes, bless up Nitro, bless up Rob Smith, Wagwan. Seem like Bell have left Luton. Hope he lands somewhere good. Yeah, looks like they have not, put anything on the table for him. So basically, he'll have to find somewhere else. I think that should be pretty easy for him, to be honest. He's established right now as a championship player for sure, and definitely held his own in the Premier League when he was there. So I would think that he should find a landing spot. A player that was, on occasion when people were injured, he was a captain for Luton Town, a leader in that team. So yeah, I think his reputation will definitely land him somewhere else, to be honest. Lucky Villa plays both Spurs and Man U. Yeah, that's going to be real good for them, Rob Smith, I think, because I don't think those teams are going to take these games very seriously. They're going to be making sure to keep the players in cotton wool. I mean, not to say that they won't bring the players on in time to try to get points in a game, but I just feel like there's going to be opportunities where you're looking at the right wing back, left wing back for like Man United and saying, who are these dudes? I've never heard of them. Arsenal are 13 points less than they were last season. It has been a terrible season. Yes, I agree. I mean, we had the last time I've seen this many draws in a season for Arsenal, it was the invincible season. 26 wins and 12 draws. I think this season we have like 13. So it's a madness. Bless up Chile, Wagwan. You always have next season. Go from rest of Chile with your trolling. Boy. That's all I can say though. What else are you gonna say when the season done? There's always next season. What else you always say? Just don't say nothing, I guess. All right, people. So we can stop talking about Arsenal. Let's talk about the games. All right. So I think the first round of games all start at 10. So no early morning game tomorrow. I was trying to figure out why that is. I think it might be because there's championship game. There's like a League One playoff tomorrow morning or something. Let me check. Let me check. The 10th. Yep, League One playoffs, Leighton and Stockport in the morning at 7:30. So they might try, them. That's a good thing that the English system though. Like them not want no game I play when the playoff game them play. So the early morning, the midday kickoff in England, League One playoffs, and then League Two playoffs kick off late, like 8 o'clock at night. So Premier League go play in between all them games. So that is the good. That is good. Them try shine a light on the playoff game them for each of the league them. So yeah, as I said, tomorrow 10 o'clock, there's going to be what? 4 fixtures at the same time. Fulham and Everton is the first one we're going to talk about today, people. Fulham and Everton. So Fulham is in that group that could potentially get that 8th slot, which we know could turn into something European-wise. And all the teams in that area, I would think, would welcome the challenge of playing in one of these European competitions. I think they're all teams that have their eyes to improve in their team. When you talk about Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham, those 3 teams, I feel like, maybe the added incentive of playing in Europe, you might see them even make a bigger splash in terms of trying to improve the team. So let's see if Fulham can get this over the line. I think they are right now, if I'm not mistaken, Fulham is, I think, 9th. No, they're 11th. Sorry. Fulham is 11th. So they are in last place of that bunch. And I left out Brentford. I didn't mean to leave out Brentford. So those 4 teams really vying for that 8th spot. As I said, based on projections, it looks like it could very well value a European spot. So this is the tail of the tape, basically, for these 2 teams in the Premier League. This match has been played 35 times in the history of the Prem. 18 wins for Everton, 12 for Fulham, 5 drawn matches out of the fixtures. When you look at the recent fixtures, which is I like to look at these to see how it's been going of late. 1-1 was the fixture at Goodison Park in October. Now they played the return at Craven Cottage last season. This match ended 0-0, and it was 1-1 before that. So the last 3 games before this, not many goals in the games. But I do feel like both teams maybe at a different place right now, especially Everton. I think Everton plays a lot differently from what they would have played like the last 3 fixtures. Fulham before that won 3-1 at Goodison and a 0-0 at Craven Cottage. So for whatever reason, Craven Cottage the last 2 times the fixture has ended 0-0. So let's see if that trend continues. Form guide, last 5 games, looks a little similar. Fulham getting a few more points or 1 more point because they did get 2 wins, but they have 3 losses mixed in with those. Of course, the 1-0 loss to Villa last week proving costly as they were looking to try to inch closer to that top 5 possibility. I think they would have to run the table if they were going to do that. So that pretty much put a dent in the top 5. But I think with that 8th slot potentially being something, that's something you can kind of fight for right now if you're Fulham. Everton drew last week with Ipswich 2-2. Chelsea lost, Man City lost before that. They beat Nottingham Forest and got a good draw with Arsenal. So Everton has played the teams high up in the table pretty well. Tough losses to Man City and Chelsea, but did beat Nottingham Forest in a part of their recent slide. And Arsenal, of course, one of the 1,000 draws they have had this season was against Everton 5 weeks ago. So that is the recent form of the 2 teams. Fulham, as I said, have a little more to play for. I think they can actually get somewhere in this European fight. And this is kind of the tail of the tape on the season as far as stats. Goals per match, you see Fulham has the edge there. Goals conceded, Everton with a slight edge there. They have double amount of clean sheets. Chances created, though, Fulham with a slight advantage. And you see the stats on the season. Jimenez with 10 goals, leading everybody. And you don't see any Everton player there. Assists, same thing going on. Iwobi, Traore, Robinson. But I will say this, Everton, I think they do have something added to their team right now, and that is Dwight McNeil. Looks like he's fit again. Had a brilliant game last week. I think that will continue this week. Fulham, though, as I said, have a little more to play for. I would think that they're going to show up with maybe that extra percentage of fight, the duels, trying to really get something on the board to try to keep the pace with these other teams right around them. But Everton has just been that team under David Moyes that just find a way to get results. They might not win the matches as much as Moyes would want, but I feel like when he came into the team, I would love to check how many of these 12 losses on this season has Moyes gotten. I think it would have to be 3 or less. Since he's taken over. So, look, I think with Fulham this year they've been a team that I have felt kind of play to the opposition. So when they play the tougher teams in the league, they tend to turn up and really have a decent performance, right? Hence they beat Liverpool, only one of 2 teams to do that this season. Well, no, 3 teams because Chelsea was able to do it last week as well. But at the time, they were only the 2nd team to do it, and they played Chelsea tough this 2-1 game. This was a tough game with Bournemouth, this 1-0, and this Villa game as well away from home. It was a header, and there's really not much in the rest of the game. So, Fulham do tend to play games pretty tight. They don't really lose games by a lot typically. So I am leaning honestly towards a draw in this game. I'm leaning towards a draw in this game, but I want to say Fulham going to get it over the line because of the necessity. Can Everton play spoiler though? I'm going to bank on Fulham needing it more. 2-1 Fulham. I think it's going to be a tight game, but 2-1 Fulham. Muffin? No, Muffin not hungry. She just small. Yo. I go on float. There, blessings. Nitro say 1-1. Yeah, maybe I lean to the 2-1 or the 1-1 star, but stick with me 1-1, yeah, man. I mean, stick with me 2-1. See, Chile agree with the 2-1 for Fulham. It does feel like them need it. Them need it a little more, Need it a little more star. That's my feel. Yo, on to the game. Game gone, people. Sports Max. Up full pristine. Wagwan. Check in. Redemption week pristine. Oh, I really are going for this though. I wonder if it's because. Alright, man. Try a thing. Let me try a thing. Alright, there we go. Good. Still deadlock nil. Put more stingy in the defensive people. Float said 2-0, 2-1 Fulham. Popular score that. Pristine say 1-0. I-0. All right, so that is the first fixture of the week. Yeah, man, I feel draw too in my soul. But then I say, you know what? Fulham going to find it. Fulham going to find it and stay in this 8th place race where I talk about. Which don't must mean nothing, but this time of the season you have to try to find anything for the motivation, So I feel like the coaches are going to say, yo, if can they are Europe and win that and go to Europa, Because trust me, the way Chelsea got through that something there this year, and Chelsea changed them team every game of this, all the way through semi-final, everything. I wonder if the coach are going to play. I doubt the coach are going to play in a change team in the final, though. I think Cole and Nico Jackson and the whole of them are going to play. Because Betis not a joke right now. I play wicked. All right, let's go back to the next game of the day, people. Portman Road is the destination, and it will be relegated. Ipswich taking on Brentford. Brentford, another team in that pack from 8 to 11. After they have really been on a really good run of form as Brentford of late. But this is the head-to-head, only one match played ever. And it was earlier this season, Brentford winning the home meeting. And it was one of the more exciting games of the season. This 4-3 matchup. The dynamic duo, Wissa and Mbuma, which I think is destined to be split up this season because I think Mbuma will be leaving. But if they stay together, I think they will continue to score goals a lot under this manager, his style, and they really have a good chemistry and synergy playing together. But this game right here was a madness. As you can see, Ipswich took the lead 2-0 going into right before halftime when Wissa had a brace right before halftime to go into all. And Portmore scores on Cavalier, people. Oh my word. Oh my word. Even though these two teams didn't finish so far apart in the league, so based on that, it wouldn't be a super upset. But I think most people would have been touting Cavalier to get through. But it looks like, what a strike! Wow, good goal. Reed with the poor clearance, and then it fell. And that's just brilliant with the left foot there. I think that was Robinson. Yeah, that was a brilliant goal still. Like a really good strike. And the celebration is nice. Yeah, but this game was a madness, people. If we can get anything like this one, that would be great. 4-3. And I have a feeling like it's going to be something like this again, because either that or Brentford just going to give them a big beating. But I feel like Brentford going to score goals in this game as well. They don't tend to score quite as much away from home, but I just feel like right now the form they're on, they went to Nottingham Forest 1 or 2-0. I could see something similar in this game, to be honest. 2-0, 3-0. A part of me want to say at home Ipswich might get a goal. But to be honest, at home of late, it doesn't matter where they play, they've been getting some beating, but they've been getting their points away from home. The last two home games, they lost to Wolves, they lost to Arsenal. They have Brentford coming to town now. And as I said, Brentford typically was getting all their points at home. But I think that win against Nottingham Forest showed me something different. So maybe they can carry that over. Big win as well last week. They were up big on Man U and kind of gave up some goals late to make it look better. But I think Brentford get over the line against Ipswich. This is what they've been doing so far this season. Big differences in most of the statistics: goals scored, conceded, clean sheets, chances created. All the stats. I'm sure most of the players gonna be Brentford. Dillap, give him a shout out for his 12 goals, though. Good output that for him. But yeah, I think Brentford is gonna prove a little bit too much for Ipswich on the day. I think Ipswich play better than they have been because there's no pressure. Even last week, you could see that they had a good performance away from home at Everton. But I think Brentford is just running into them at a bad time. So Brentford, for me, gets over the line. I'm going to say they win this one 3-0. Convincing. Sorry, Ipswich fans. Yeah, man, I see the goal, man. Brilliant goal off the left. Hot Chili say Brentford 3-1. Nitro agree with the 3 love. Yeah, man, I feel like I'm also Boston up, man. Brentford on form right now. Well, one thing is for sure, Portmore ain't giving up no 3-4 goals. So Cavalier just know this game going either draw or Cavalier win 2-1. And if Portmore ever get a next one, problem. Pristine said Brentford 2-1. See if Ethan start this week, no. Too much game in a row now, that coach, man. Come on. Man, them nearly beat the offside trap. Yeah, must be a foul. All right, people. So that is the second fixture, Ipswich and Brentford. Now, the third game that will be at 10 o'clock tomorrow is going to be Southampton and Manchester City. So this one, people, might even think you have to look on too many stats, but 7 wins for Southampton, 23 for City, 9 drawn matches. So Southampton earlier this season got a 1-0 loss at the Etihad. Last year when they played, or not last year, 2 seasons ago when they played City, went to St. Mary's and beat them 4-1. 4-0 and 4-1 is what they got that season. But back in 2021-22 season, 2 draws actually in the 2 fixtures. So Southampton hoping for games more like this than the last few. But this is the form right here. You can see the polar opposites there. 4 losses, 1 draw for one side. 4 wins, 1 draw for the other side. Man City just steamrolling through the league right now. Wins against Palace, Everton, Villa, and Wolves. Southampton has lost to everybody. Leicester, Fulham, Aston Villa, Spurs, drew with West Ham as well in that 5 games. So far this season, this is going to see some big discrepancies here from league position all the way down. Goals scored per match, conceded goals, clean sheets, chances created, definitely all in favor of Manchester City. I will be getting Haaland back this week. We don't know if he'll start, but definitely fit enough to play. And you can never predict with Pep who the hell is going to play. Savinho leading the team in assists. I haven't seen him play in a while. Saw Doku and De Bruyne combined last week, so you probably won't see one of those 2 play this week because Pep just does things like that. But I think De Bruyne will probably play out the season because obviously, I think it's the right thing to do for the club. They didn't give him no contract. Might as well let him play out the NM days on the pitch in front of the fans. And he's actually been producing, so it's not like you're doing him a favor, you're doing your club a favor by playing him. So you might as well play him, right? So this game, people, nah, we're not doing any kind of tricky things. I'm gonna go for another 3-0 to City. They're not gonna concede either, people. I'm sorry. Floats at 2-0. Nitrous at 4. Could I go 4 still, John Star. Skull done with football, brother. Man not even there, Star. Big up yourself, Red Skull. Anyway, then. Skull usually turn up by now, but I feel that Skull vibes probably broke. Southampton City. All right, the last game at 10 o'clock, Wolves and Brighton. Wolves, another team on really good form. They did fall short last week against City, but definitely played them well enough to get something out of that game. Just a bit unlucky with their finishing and their chances. So this one, 13 times played. The most common result actually a draw with 6 draws, but 5 wins to Brighton, only 2 to Wolves. They played at the Molineux this time. Earlier this season, it was a 2-0, 0-0 before that, 4-1 to Brighton at the Molineux last season. Crazy result there early season. Then you had a 6-0 to Brighton at the Amex in 23 and a 3-2. So Brighton really controlling the wins of the last 5. The last 2 games, though, have been draws. Brighton, as you can see, 2 losses, 1 win, 2 draws in the last 5. Wolves were on an unbeaten streak. In fact, winning, I think it was 5 in a row wins, or 6 wins in a row, sorry. And then they lost to Man City 1-0 last week in a tough game. De Bruyne getting the only goal there. This is what the teams have done this season statistically. Goals scored, Brighton with the edge. Goals conceded, Brighton with a slight edge. 1 more clean sheet to Wolves, though. Chances created, the edge there to Brighton as well. Goals and assists, you see Wolves leading there 15 and 13, 28 combined for the 2 most forward players. And Cavalier have equalized from the corner. Looks like McCleary got on the end of that one on the near post. Ainsworth with the delivery. So that lead lasted about 10 minutes, I think. And Cavalier answer 1-1. Set piece is always a crucial part of the game. Cavalier taking advantage of the near post set piece. And it was a brilliant flicked header. Let's see the replay. Oh yeah, no stopping that one. That's good execution on the flick. Right through the keeper's hands. Couldn't react fast enough. Russell has had a good season in net for Portmore, but just the execution, the pace on the cross as well. And he just got the perfect contact to glance it towards the goal. So 1-1 in the quarterfinals of the JPL. Yep, 10 minutes apart. 25th minute, 35th minute. So these are the stats right here, people. But look, Wolves to me playing the more consistent football. I think Brighton, though, the last game, especially against Newcastle, they had some really good spells in the game. But again, I just feel like Wolves is a little more consistent in their performances of late. I just have a feeling like Wolves going to turn them over, man. Cunha on one. Cunha want to give the fans some parting gifts. I don't trust Brighton. Too inconsistent, man. Because I like what I saw so much against City, and that's a version of City that's been playing well. I'm gonna say Wolves just playing better than them, and I'm gonna beat them, bro. I'm telling you. So I'm gonna say 2-1 Wolves. 2-1 Wolves. Good game. I'm gonna go with the 2-1. Chile. I'll go on Chile. Pristine. So 4-0 City. Can't wrong Pep fair change people. Wolves 2-1. Nitro 2-1. Pristine. So Wolves 2-1. Alright, I think that everybody were there. I got through. Float, I miss one for you. No, that's the last one, Brentford. Alright, Float usually drop for you more in the comments still. If you miss the rest. Alright, let's move on now. Cause the match I get hot, man. 1-1. I want to take it in, man. Can I watch it back still? Alright. Wolves Brighton. Okay, the last game Saturday. This is the midday kickoff in the United States now. 12:30, Bournemouth, Aston Villa. I think this is one of the better fixtures for the weekend, to be honest. Two teams that are still playing for something. No excuses as far as, no excuses really. I think these two teams should be rearing to go for this one. 9 matches played between them in the Premier League history. 4 wins for Bournemouth, 3 for Aston Villa, and 2 draws. Recent meetings, 1-1 was the fixture at Villa Park earlier this season. 3-1 to Villa last season, 2-2 at the Vitality, 3-0 before that, and 2-0. So looks like pretty much the home team usually gets the wins if there is a win. So that would give the slight edge to Bournemouth there. With that being said, and as I said, there is one omission from this game that I think will be a big one, and that is Yuri Tielemans. He does set the tempo for this Aston Villa team very much from the midfield, and him not playing, I'm just going to see how it all works out without him there. Somebody's going to have to step up in that role, and I'm looking through the team, and I'm not seeing the same kind of range of passing, quality of passing in their system besides him, so I don't know who's going to do what he does. So that's something to watch for in this fixture. They'll be without Rashford, which I think is doable because they have a lot of other pieces up in that area of the pitch. I think Marlon looked sharp the last time he came on against Fulham. Um, of course, obviously, they still have Ali Watkins to play up top. Bailey hasn't been able to get a run, but they have Asensio. They have a lot of different pieces. Ramsey, Rogers. So yeah, we'll see what Unai Emery decides to go with in this one. But I think Andoni Iraola definitely should be confident going into this one. Of course, getting the scalp of Arsenal again, did the double over them this season. Earlier this season was able to get a draw, so he would love to be able to get 4 points off of his Spanish compatriot. So yeah, this one should be a good one. I think they're right there in the table beside each other. A little bit of a points gap. I think there's a 7-point difference between these two teams, even though they're 7th and 8th. As you can see, Villa with 3 more wins. Goals per match, literally dead even. So you can see why they would draw their first fixture. Goals conceded, Bournemouth with a slight edge there. They have 1 more clean sheet than Villa, but Villa do create more chances over the 90 minutes than Bournemouth. Stats, Ali Watkins leading the goals, Rogers leading the assists. Tielemans will be out and he's the tackle leader as well. So not only does he provide what I think is that good offensive transition base, he also does both ends because he is the best tackler out of everybody on their team, which, you wouldn't look at Yuri Tielemans and necessarily call him that, but that just shows you when you're consistent and you're available and you're playing and you're making yourself useful in all phases, you are going to contribute in the tackles department as well. So, yeah, I think he's been their player of the season personally, and he's going to be a big miss in this one. And for that reason, people, I think their top 5 hopes take a hit this weekend, people. Bournemouth, they're going to win this game. I'm sorry. I am going to actually, you know what? I don't think they're going to win. I think it's going to draw. I'm going to say 2-2. Bournemouth Villa going to end 2-2, people. Not the best result for them. Yeah, man, Yuri out going to be tough. Yeah, Barkley's a good shout. Good shout, but Barkley don't have that look away and play through this. Like, him just don't have the Yuri, the sauce. But Barkley is probably the closest comp for sure. So that's a good shot. But I just don't think it's the same. It ain't gonna be the same. So the people who there are putting them vote like the 2-2 prediction, because everybody putting it. Pristine said Bournemouth 2-1. That was my first thought, Pristine, but and I remember say Villa will cause them some problem too. Even without Yuri. So I'm gonna say 2-2. 2 coaches that have similar styles. I don't think Iraola is quite as no pun intended, cavalier with his offside line, but in terms of wanting to win the football from the other team in their half, I think those are traits that both teams have. All right, so that is the late fixture on Saturday, Bournemouth and Aston Villa. All right, people. So let's move on now to Sunday's fixtures, people. Newcastle, Chelsea, bright and early in the morning, 6 o'clock in Jamaica. So yeah, if you're up for this one, you're a true Chelsea or a Newcastle fan, or you're just like me, you just love ball so much that you want to see everything. So yeah, I'll be up watching this one. Big weekend for the family this weekend because we'll be in Atlanta for a tournament. So we leave tomorrow morning. Julie have 2 games tomorrow, 1 on Sunday, and well, hopefully everything goes right. She'll have 2 on Sunday because she'll have the final to play in the afternoon. But yeah, we'll see. We need 2 wins tomorrow. That should pretty much put us in the final for Sunday. But at the very least, we need to make sure we don't lose tomorrow. So a win and a draw minimum, may I say. And that should put us in good placement to see how Sunday go. But we have a grudge match tomorrow. I think the second game we'll play tomorrow is with a side who will just draw a 2-2 within a wicked match. The last league game of the season. But this have nothing to do with that. This is just a tournament. So the team will draw with them and host the tournament. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game in particular. Cause I want to see how the girls them react after that close game there. Yeah, you're different, man. Different sauce, different gravy. Biro Golden say 3-2 Villa. Alright, Biro. I know you just have vote on that one game there. But I put on your name and put the X if you don't get it right. And give a check mark if you get it right. Big up yourself, Biro. So it look like halftime now, people. 1-1. Tell Speed said that game may go hard, you know. And him agree still. To his credit, him agree. Him say it not go easy. Busy. Them not score. Oh, them not score. Oh, him did offside. Okay. King, I don't know why King not just kick the ball and the goal a while ago, you know. But him did offside anyway. Anybody watching the game? Why King never just finish that? He might play back cross ball for man to finish. Austin versus Speedy. Yeah. Sorry, people. The look at end of the half of me just a look, you know. Send him. Ooh. Yo, busy quick, you know, man. Goal. I never fired. Ainsworth. Left foot volley over the top. Allen trying to finish. When Allen scored the other day in the season, man, I was the happiest me ever see Cavalier players. Man, them well happy say the man score a goal. So this fixture right here, people, in terms of, you know, the top 5 race and everything, this one is probably even bigger than the Bournemouth Aston Villa game because both of these teams currently even in the top 5. Newcastle, of course, have already had a success this season winning the Carabao Cup. They want to double that success now by winning this, well, not winning, but finishing in this top 5 to play Champions League next year. This is the amount of times this tie has been played in the Premier League: 59, 13 draws, 15 wins for Newcastle, 31 wins for Chelsea. Earlier this season at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea did beat them 2-1. And it looks like the home team pretty much has been winning this fixture, except for one game, a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge. Last game of the season, 2022-23. But yeah, Chelsea did get the better of them at the bridge. Let's see if Newcastle can turn them over this time around. Newcastle, 3 wins. You know, they have a loss to Aston Villa, really poor loss, really, away at Villa Park, 4-1. One of their worst performances of the season, to be honest. Then you have the draw last week with Brighton, and it really took a last-minute penalty there. I don't think they showed their best performance there either. Yeah, so at home, that's what they do to teams, though. 4-1, 5-0, 3-0. Chelsea definitely have to come and turn up with a proper performance if they're going to beat this Newcastle team at St. James Park, where they just seem to play at a different level. Goals scored per match. You see Chelsea with the slight edge. Newcastle with the slight edge there. Chelsea with the slight edge in goals conceded. Clean sheets, though, Newcastle has 12. Chelsea has 9 chances created. Chelsea with the edge there, 2.49 to 2.17. Isak with 23 goals. Murphy with 11 assists. One of the few times you see Chelsea play and it's Newcastle players leading the stats. Palmer with 8 goals, 8 assists, 15 goals. Nico Jackson now up to double digits in the Prem with 10. Enzo and 7 assists as well. Caicedo, look at that, 103 tackles. Look at the next closest person, 75. And Bruno is a player that tackles a lot. So that should show you the work that Caicedo puts in on a week-to-week basis, right? So, look, Chelsea playing some good football of late. They have 3 wins on the bounce. You know, you would argue that they're on better form. But I think with me and this Newcastle team, this St. James Park ground, eliminate form for me. Doesn't matter. This Newcastle team and this ground, different gravy. So for that reason, people, I'm gonna say Newcastle get the win. I think it's an exciting game. I'm gonna say Newcastle win this one 3-1. I was gonna say 3-2, but 3-1. Nitro says the same. Actually said 3-2 Newcastle. Pristine said this one going draw. Could see a draw as well, Pristine. But nah. Chelsea got the 3 points at Liverpool. I didn't expect that. I also didn't expect them to get 3 points at St. James Park. But this time, I think we're going to actually be right. So yeah, I'm going with the 3-1 to Newcastle. Now moving right along, next fixture. This one will be United and West Ham. And as I said, people, you can expect some changes, some faces that aren't familiar, newer faces, right? Because I don't think Man United don't take any risk with their players leading up to this final that they have to play. I know Amorim would want Champions League. You know, it will help everything. You know, secure some different transfers that maybe wanted Champions League to come. You know, all those variables, more money for the club to spend. So yeah, it's a big deal for them to win this competition over Spurs. And it can really salvage obviously a lackluster season in the league, right? So 34 wins for United, 10 for West Ham, 13 draws. Definitely some dominance there. But earlier this season, West Ham did beat them 2-1. Looking to the double over United, probably been years since they have been able to do that. Don't even know if they've ever done it, to be honest, but I'm sure they have at least one time. But yeah, form guide, as you can see, both teams, no green on there. So no wins in the last 5 for either team. Three draws for West Ham to only 2 for Man United, though. But yeah, West Ham, playing some better football, at least scoring some more goals of late. They have the fitness of Bowen now, the fitness of Kudus. So it's looking a bit better. But they just can't get the 3 points over the line. They've had some bad losses as well. Brighton, I think they came back to beat them there. They scored first against Liverpool, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. No, actually they didn't. They did equalize. But I know this Brighton game, 2 late goals after taking the lead. So they've been conceding some late goals to drop some points. Look, this week though, I think Man United, maybe they get away with the change team this week because, as I said, they have players fit who will play. They'll come on, they'll make a difference. And because West Ham has been dropping points late, I think they probably drop points late here. I think West Ham probably take the lead or whatever. But United, I think they probably get over the line against West Ham, man. I'm going to say 2-2. I'm going to say 2-2. Only because I think United going to have a crazy change team. But I think they bring on some people late and they get the job done to at least get the draw. And I want to even say 3-2, but I'm going to say 2-2. Yeah, it's uneventful other than the top 5 race, really. And I guess some people probably don't even care about that enough, 1-1. So the people, they might understand the reasoning. They must say draw as well. I just say 1-1 as well. All right, Christopher in the building. I drop theme, score them. Fulham 2-1. Brentford 2-1. City 3-0. Brighton 2-1. Alright. Can go and run them, Christopher. Respect. So Pristine say United will get over the line 2-1. Christopher writes a Villa 1-all. Alright. I'm never write Moss. No, Moss was saying feel well. I did write Moss. Alright. United West Ham, you know? Goal scored, conceded, clean sheet, chances. Yeah, so United, I think that one will end in a draw. Nottingham Forest and Leicester City, people. So Nottingham Forest still in with a shout. I think this is a fixture that if they're going to get this top 5, they have to have. They have to have this victory, people. They did do the win 3-1 over them in the King Power earlier in the season. Last time they played at home against this team, they beat them 2-0 in the 22-23 season. So Nottingham Forest, as I said, have hit a wall. You know, they had 3 losses out of their last 5, 1 draw, only 1 victory in those 5 fixtures. So 4 points from a possible 15, not necessarily Champions League qualification form. Leicester, you know, after losing and drawing a bag of games, finally got a win. And the win came against the only team in the league with less points than them. But hey, you have to beat somebody, and they were able to do that. I think they go right back to reality this week. Nottingham Forest will not let this opportunity slip up. They have had a few go through their hands of late. You know, losing at home to Brentford was a serious loss. You know, Spurs, that was a big win. But then, you know, you have to kind of attribute that to Spurs putting their eggs in the Europa League basket, right? Everton losing at home again. So the last 2 times they have played at home, they've really dropped the ball. You know, Everton 1-0 loss, Brentford 2-0 loss. They cannot be playing games at home in this crunch time and not scoring a goal. But I think they do get this one over the line, people. I'm going to say a 2-0 win to Nottingham Forest. I just feel like Leicester just ain't good enough, man. They ain't good enough. And they're just not, it's not good enough. I tempted to say 2-1, you know, but I'm going to allow it and say Vardy don't score this week. So 2-0. 2-0. 2-0, people. That's my story. Christopher writes a 2-all, Chelsea. All right. Relegated teams, not surprising. Very difficult to stay in the EPL. Always going to be an uphill task for the bottom 3. Yeah, for sure. I think in the same book, you know, I have my Premier League before it even starts. No, it's not this book, it's my other book. Yo, I'm telling you how far off I am. Brother, I'm gonna look back on it and say, John no star. What did I think? All right, so this was how I had it before the season, people. Listen this. Arsenal, City, I had United 3rd. So that was way off. I had Liverpool 4th. Man, them win the league. I had Chelsea 5th. Spurs 6th. West Ham 17th. West Ham 17th, people. I had Villa 8th, which is actually pretty damn close. I had Newcastle all the way down at 9. Then something about Bournemouth, I knew it. They're 10th. Palace in 11th, I think they're 12th right now. Fulham 12th, I think they're 11th right now, so that's not bad. Wolves I had up to 13th, and people were laughing at me earlier this season, but it looks like they're going to finish somewhere around there. Brighton 14th is what I had, so that's a team that I had too low. I had Leicester staying up in 15th. I had Brentford all the way in 16th. I had Forest in 17th. So most people would have had Forest low, but I had them really low at 17th. And then I had Everton, Southampton, and Ipswich getting relegated. So I had 2 out of 3 teams getting relegated. I thought Leicester would be able to stay up. And I had Everton going down this year, which before they got rid of Dyche was looking like they might. So I didn't do horribly. I think the top of the league is definitely bad because I have Liverpool way at 4, I have United at 3, I have Spurs at 6. So that's terrible. Chelsea at 5 is actually looking like it's not so bad because that's where they are right now. And City second, Arsenal first. I mean, City's probably going to finish second, Arsenal probably finish third or fourth. So have that okay. Newcastle 9 is too low. Villa at 8 is not terrible, but West Ham at 7, that's terrible on my part. And Brentford, obviously, and Brighton too low. But that's not terrible, people. That's not terrible. Could be worse. Now that Ipswich is relegated, I wonder if they will sell such player for a cut price. Yeah, we shall see. I've seen a lot of names coming up of late, though, about him. So we shall see how that work out. Forest 2-0 St. Nitro. I think I wrote that down already. No, I didn't actually. Manu 2-1, Forest 3-1. Pristine said 3-0. Second half I start now, 3-1 City. Alright, people, we're up and done this, Come on, watch the rest of that game, man. 3-1 City. Float. Okay, man, I look for City and it way up this up because I float. 2-2 Wolves and Brighton. 2-1 Aston Villa. 2-1 Chelsea. And 2-1 Man U. Yeah, man, it was a dream, yes. It was a nightmare. 3 EPL teams looking at such player may not need a cut price. Yeah, man. Teams are looking upon him, man. Them can play a little hardball, yes, but I think it can be so cut. I'm not going to just give him away either. 3-1. First 2-0. Alright, cool. Moving along now to the next game. So all these games are going to be 9:15, these 3 games. So we have Spurs and Crystal Palace. And of course, people, I did just tell you, I believe that, what is going on here? I won't go to the game. So, hold on, the people, the page I move like it. I don't know. I don't know what going for the page, people. Brother, why not take me to the actual game notes? Why is it doing this? There we go. I had to move some people. All right, so 31 games played between the teams. Spurs dominate this fixture. 19 wins, only 5 for Palace, 7 draws. They have only had 1 away win over the 31 games as well. But Palace did win the game earlier this season 1-0. So, they have that going for them. And I think also Spurs, you see their league form, not the best of late. Palace also with some other things going on, FA Cup, trying to get players fit for those games. I think that has really hurt them. But they have had 3 quality draws, teams that are up in the top half of the table, playing them tough in all those 3 games. And I just think Spurs, they will be euphoric, their fans at home. But again, I think you can expect a lot of changes in the team. And that usually lends itself to uneven performance. I think with this being the last time that Glasner can play a match before the FA Cup final, he will want to go in with some kind of momentum. So I could see them, going with a strong-ish team as long as nobody's really under risk of getting hurt or anything like that. So yeah, I just feel like Crystal Palace, you have to kind of factor in what time of the season it is for both teams, what they have to play for. Crystal Palace, while they don't have much to play for in the league per se, I think they will want to really give their guys a proper run out before the FA Cup final next week, whereas Tottenham really had their final that they played on Thursday, and they'll be wanting to be in that recovery. So we're not going to see the same team, very much a changed team. I think because of where the game is being played, I'm going to do similar to what I did with the United game. And even though I feel like Palace should win the game over them, I'm going to say that it actually ends up being a draw. So I'm going to say this one ends up 2-2, just like the United West Ham game. Part of me want to say Palace, but I'm not going to do it. Check. What going on? We're there, Ipswich paid 20 mil for such player. It will be difficult to break even or make a profit from him. His performances were very average at best. But I really love to talk about such player for a person when I want to talk about such player again in a game. Easy, Crystal Palace 2-1, say pristine. Spurs and Palace 2-2. Yeah, I agree with that one then, I try. I'm not telling you like 2-2, I say. Desmond Toto. Second half kickoff. Stats so far. Goals scored, conceded, clean sheet chances. Palace. Solanke reached 10. Can't see Son again. Son injured. All right, last game Sunday, people, and last game of the week was supposed to be a big fixture for the title race, but only one of these teams wanted the title. It's clear, and it was Liverpool. So, guard of honor settings for this one on Sunday. 65 times this one played in the league. Liverpool with 25 wins, Arsenal with 18 and 22 drawn games. Earlier this season at the Emirates, it was a 2-2 draw. Feels like eons ago, but Saka and Marino got the goals on this day. And this is Marino pre-striker days. This is him scoring from midfield. Actually, it was a set piece. And Van Dijk and Salah got the goals, the two, key players you would have to say in the Liverpool team. So they turned up on this one and they did get that 2-2 draw. And that Salah goal was a heartbreaker late. It looks like we might get over the line and get the 3 points, but story of the season, 3 points turns to 1, Last time we played at Anfield, it was a 1-1. Last 2 times, actually, we have drawn there. And this was the first time we didn't beat them at home in the season, this season, drawing 2-2. So the form guide, as you can see, one team with some greens, but 2 losses out of the 3 on the season coming in the last 5 games for Liverpool. To be expected, they pretty much have the league wrapped up. Wondering if that plays any kind of factor in the game today. I happen to think that Liverpool will be a little more up for this one than any other game this season, because this is the team that has been closest to them this season, and they'll just want to just once and for all kill off any feelings of anything. Even though it's killed off now, I just feel like they'll have that extra motivation because it's Arsenal they're playing. And I don't know if Arsenal will have the extra motivation to have to, withstand what's going to happen at Anfield with this crowd, in that champion winning mood. It's going to be loud, it's going to be raucous, and I just worry that if they were to score early on us, it could get wobbly for Arsenal in this game. But, who knows? Maybe Arsenal plays the game like they have nothing to lose, which they really don't. I mean, some would argue, yes, they could lose top 5. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, we'll have Southampton at the end of the season. I would think we'd have to lose all 3 games to lose the top 5. So with the teams playing each other around us, it's really impossible for all those teams to pass us. So, realistically, 5th is probably the worst we could finish, honestly, because I just don't see us losing to Southampton the last day of the season. So, yeah, regardless what happens, because of course we have Newcastle next week, which I don't feel so good about that game either. So this is how the stats have been this season. You see 7 more wins for Liverpool have made a difference. We have 6 more draws, making up some points there, but those wins, more draws and more wins, obviously, more wins going to be tipping the tide in the favor of your side. Only 4 losses for Arsenal, but again, can't have almost double the amount of draws as your nearest rival, right? Average goals scored, Liverpool up over 2, Arsenal at 1.83. We've seen that number start to go down and down as the weeks go by as well. Goals conceded per match, Arsenal with a slightly better at 0.89. Liverpool, 35 goals conceded from 35 games, so 1 on the dot, their average. But Liverpool do have 2 more clean sheets, which I think is the most in the league at 14. Chance created per match, Liverpool also creating more chances, about 0.5 more to be exact. Salah leads everything, 18 assists, 28 goals. Saka been on 10 assists since forever. Rice now up to 7. Luis Diaz and Gakpo, the top 3, rounding out the top 3. So no Arsenal player over 8 goals on the season in the Premier League. That is a big issue for the Gunners. Look, this one, people, Liverpool now have nothing to play for, but Arsenal, I think, psychologically, we're weak right now, people. Dropping out of Champions League, we're going to have effects from that game. I think you'll see players that normally don't start because they just don't have it in them to start. So I just think that Liverpool is going to be a bit too much on the day, to be honest. I think this might be only this is probably the first time this entire prediction season that I have picked against Arsenal. But I just think that Liverpool is going to turn us over, people. So I think it's going to be 2-0. I think they actually keep a damn clean sheet too. 2-0 to Liverpool, people. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Red Skull turn up just in time for hear me vote against Arsenal start. Sad you had to see that, bro. Thought you could have maybe just leave your leave your scores in the comments and miss the show tonight. So you wouldn't have to see your brother in from Gunnerland going against his team in the predictions, Chile say Palace 3-2. If Man U win the Europa, it will be a good season despite the underwhelming showing. Europa League trophy means Champions League. Yes, absolutely. 2-1 pools afloat. Nitro say 1-1. Pool 3-0. It's a bag up settings. Not even second for Arsenal this season. Yeah, I don't think so either, CK. Big up. 2-1 my side. Alright, Skull. Skull say, yo. A one side and a female. Spurs 1-all, pool 3-1. At least when Arsenal lose, Arteta can say the better team lost. Yeah, damn idiot. Big up DNA, Wagwan. Big up Conrad. Bless up. You really said that, Jason? LFC 2-0. Yeah, man. Prediction, man. Hey, I have to be honest, bro. I just feel like we're not up off of the canvas yet from Wednesday, brother. So we talk rough. Talk rough in the stadium there. We'll get beaten. I don't think I need to actually check that, but I'm pretty sure that I've not gone against Arsenal all year. Even when we go away to City, when we play, who else we play? When we play Liverpool at home, obviously I didn't go against us. I think I might have done a draw or two, but I don't think I've ever gone for a loss. So it's the first time. Yeah, bro. First for everything. Skull, drop the rest of them, bro. Drop your other score them. The 9 score them. Correct that, Time for watch the rest of this JPL match. 1-all. Can actually watch it while the show done still, But just true, it's an EPL show. I don't want it's not really a JPL stream, so I never want for the people that watch it back and stuff, it's not really the best to have the end of the show just be something completely different, That's all. I wanted to keep it to this. But yeah, people, one more time, let's just take a look at the table. So really and truly, the race down here don't really matter anymore. All of this don't matter as much. I think from 11th all the way up now. You have something to talk about. 8th place, I think, with all the stuff going on in Europe, might actually get a European place as well. Then you have from 7th to 2nd, fighting for the top 5 to be sure to be in the Champions League, right? So yeah, that is pretty much it, people. Of course, we have the big games this week. Newcastle taking on Chelsea and Aston Villa taking on Bournemouth. I think those will have a lot to do with what happens in this race. You know, Forest definitely with a good setup this week, hosting Leicester City, and of course Brentford as well, away to Ipswich. Good fixture at this time of the season for them. Liverpool and Arsenal, we thought would have big implications earlier this season when we saw this fixture later in the year. Didn't turn out that way. I think it's gonna be pretty anticlimactic, but I'm sure Liverpool fans will love to see the guard of honor Arsenal will form before the game. Yep, it's tradition, people. It's a F-talk one, but you have to go through it, people. So it go. So it go. So yes, people, that is it, you know. We got through all 10 fixtures. Red Skull. Let me see if you got who I play. Portmore and Cavaliers. 1-1, second half. 12 minutes into the second half. Whipped in ball. Cleared. Cavalier with an aimless ball back into the box. Cut out by Portmore. Can't counter though. And King is fouled. Yeah, man, weak, man. I remember say this man played them man last week too, you know. So eventually them I forget that damn rest, you know. They say 2-1. Yeah, I could have see that. I go for 2-0 still. Just feel like we're not gonna have no energy. Good strike, King. Keeper save it though. Not far enough in the corner. I'm gonna keep aside. Gonna keep a cheat look to the right before. And nearly get caught out. They say anyway, I'm strike that further to the corner, it's score, you know. Brentford 2-1. I always say Skull, you need to see the fixtures. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna pull them up so you see the whole of them one time. Alright, see the game them here, Skull. Oh, you have them. Alright, City 2-1. West Ham 2-1. Oh, Portmore in on the right. Back post. Too close to the keeper. Barkley with a good claim. Portmore score a wicked goal still. Foul. Skull, drop the rest of them now, bro. Fulham, Everton, Wolves, Brighton, Bournemouth, Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest, Leicester, Tottenham, Palace. Use what? Oh, make you see them? Alright. Now true you start drop the whole of them, I swear say yeah, look on them or something, bro. That's why we never do it again. Alright, let me put them. Cause as I go for do it, I see you start drop scores. So I say, alright. Skull I work with something. He might look on something. But see them here. Fulham Everton. I not get that one there yet. I not get the Wolves Brighton and I not get the Bournemouth Villa. So give me them three there. Let me see. Boy, I could have definitely said that game and just play out to the 1-1, you know, man. Because Portmore give up goal like that, you know. Right, don't how long the ball I got in the ear for. Somebody put on the ball, man. Jesus. I know say, you gonna say Chelsea teeth will get kicked out. I could have tell you that. I never see Skull go for Chelsea yet. But I agree still. I think Newcastle will beat them. Oh, good ball, you know. Right, the man get on the end of the ball there. Big collision in the box. Man running at the goalkeeper. Skull. Oh, we need to move the screen, no? But Bournemouth, Aston Villa, you know, give me yet, you know. Or Wolves, Brighton, you know. So I don't know where you wait for them there, you know. See the rest of them, yeah? Forest, Leicester, Tottenham, Palace. So see the game them there where you need to give me. Wolves, Brighton, Bournemouth, Villa, Forest, Leicester, Spurs, Palace. And then I you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. 4 game. Wolves, Brighton, Bournemouth, Villa, Forest, Leicester, Spurs, Palace. That is it. Last what? 27 minutes plus injury time. Another first leg to play. Portmore took the lead, and then 10 minutes later, Cavalier equalized from a corner. Three one Palace. Well played. Bournemouth 2-1. First 2-1. Wolves Brighton, that's it. Ramon Howell. He's always get called by Jamaica. Seagull night off. Captain, and give the armband to Howell. Veteran in the league still. 1-0 Brighton. Alright, cool. Well, people, that is it, you know. My sports world, me look online for years. Duke, me don't know where there, bro. Drop them in the comment section. Biggs G, I'm sure you'll drop yours as well. But big up to everybody that tuned in tonight. Don't know, I'm a little bit getting pulled in the next direction. So let me finish watching this JPL game and give it some time because I really want to see the end here. Last 25 minutes. If you have the Sports Max app, people, on the App Store, Play Store, whichever one you have, go ahead and get it. It's on Sportsmax Plus. That is, you don't need any subscription or anything. You just turn it on your device and you're good to go. Right now, I'm going to stream it to my TV, so you can do the same. All right, people, big up on yourself. Thanks so much for tuning in. At the end of each and every show, we say these words. I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And even though we don't have nothing to go get, me still I say it. Come on, you Gooners.